All right, welcome to episode 25 of the Cigar Snob Podcast. This is a milestone episode, and we have a milestone cigar to go along with this particular recording. I'm joined by Erik Calvino.
Yo, hang on a second. I'm cutting my cigar.
Oh, okay. And Ivan Ocampo.
What's up, peeps?
All right. So, on this episode, we're going to be talking about a Rocky Patel cigar that we happen to be smoking right now, the NBA playoffs, some Kardashian news, Pittsburgh, New Orleans, taxes, golf, and all sorts of other stuff.
I like taxes.
And, but before we get into that, a word from our sponsor, Villiger Cigars. Villiger Cigars, celebrating 130 years in tobacco, unveils its first ever full-bodied premium handmade cigar in the Villiger La Vencedora. The Villiger La Vencedora is the follow-up cigar to the highly acclaimed Villiger La Flor de Inclán and Villiger Sandoro Colorado. This Nicaraguan puro, wrapped in a beautiful Nicaraguan Habano puro wrapper, boasts a potent, full-bodied smoking experience featuring highly seasoned, hearty flavors. The Villiger La Vencedora, which translates to the Victor, emits a billowing aromatic smoke throughout the smoky experience. The Villiger La Vencedora, a palate-pleasing, full-bodied, yet elegant cigar that will satisfy the cigar connoisseur as well as the casual smoker.
I am ready.
Here we go. And, all right, we are back. On this episode of the podcast, our featured cigar is the Hamlet 25th Year, which is a Rocky Patel product. Not a product.
Product.
It's a Rocky Patel product blended by Hamlet Paredes. I don't know if this is about my product but yeah, blended by Hamlet Paredes. This is the blurb that they have about this cigar on the Rocky Patel website.
Read that blurb.
Here we go. The Hamlet 25th Year is the second brand developed by renowned Cuban cigar blender and master roller Hamlet Paredes. Crafted in Nicaragua, this medium-bodied cigar features a cedary Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, a Pennsylvania broadleaf binder, and Nicaraguan and Honduran fillers. The Hamlet 25th Year honors the achievements of Hamlet Paredes' body of work through a quarter century in the cigar industry, and this cigar delivers all the quality for which Hamlet is known. So again, this has an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper. It's got a Pennsylvania broadleaf binder and fillers from Honduras and Nicaragua. We are smoking this in the 5.5 by 50 Robusto, although it's also available in Toro and 60. Ivan, what are your thoughts? I think you were the first to actually get yours lit.
One of my favorite Rocky products.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's very enjoyable. I love it. Yeah, it's a great cigar.
Yeah, medium-bodied, not overpowering. It's kind of like right in your wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
You don't tend to go for things that are overpowering, and this is smooth and creamy and medium-bodied.
Don't judge me though. I like to be versatile, but yeah, this is a great cigar.
Ah, yeah, no doubt about it. It was on our list.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
did we look how much? Where did that end up on our list?
That's a good question.
Anybody
I don't
know
remember exactly where. We have 3 computers in front of us. We can pull it up in on the website.
Remember to check that out.
What you got?
11.
Number 11 on the list of Cigar Snob's top 25 cigars of 2017. So the 25th year was number 11.
It goes to 11.
It goes to 11. Well, it goes to 25, but this one goes to 11. So this cigar, at least for me in this first like half inch or so, is it definitely delivers on that cedary Habano
Yeah, I'm with you.
flavor, which I think kind of speaks to the fact that this was a Hamlet blend and something kind of a little bit outside of the traditional Rocky pepper forward.
Yeah,
profile.
pepper, chocolate, right? Those are like Rocky's like hallmarks.
I really enjoy smoking this cigar with Hamlet.
Yeah,
because he gets very passionate about it, and I'm sure everybody caught the podcast, previous podcast.
Episode 1.
That's right, yeah.
That we did with Hamlet.
That's episode 1.
But I do enjoy smoking with him because he's so passionate and knowledgeable. Yeah. If anybody catches him out there in any events that he does and has a chance to speak to him, He's worth speaking to.
Yeah, for sure. And have him make you a cigar. He's pretty damn good at it.
And have him make you a cigar. So yeah, for those who don't know, the very first episode of this podcast is a long interview that, and by long I just mean like deep interview that we did with Hamlet Paredes before he came to the States and began working with Rocky Patel. He was one of the sort of ambassador cigar rollers for Habanos, which is the Cuban cigar company. Right, yeah, there you go. So boo to Habanos, but hooray, 3 cheers for Hamlet Paredes. So yeah, check that out in episode 1. You can learn all about him and look out for this Hamlet 25th year. This is a solid cigar. We're going to be revisiting the cigar in a bit.
But we're on episode 25, Nick. 25, buddy.
I know, 25.
Do you remember when we first started 25 episodes ago?
It seems like it was only a month or 2 ago.
Exactly.
So, speaking of Rocky Patel, when we did that interview with Hamlet, we were at Burn by Rocky Patel, which is Rocky Patel's cigar bar in Naples, Florida. In the last sort of team chat episode of this podcast, we talked about the fact that, Erik, you would be heading to Pittsburgh for the opening of Rocky Patel, I guess Burn by Rocky Patel Pittsburgh.
Correct.
So yeah, you were there. How'd it go?
It was awesome. Awesome. The place is, I want to say it's like 3 times the size of the Burn in Naples. Beautiful place. This one has food, unlike the Naples one. So you can, it's kind of like elevated bar food. So very good stuff. Like I'm talking like flatbreads and pizzas and hors d'oeuvres and things. Really nice food. But the cigar selection was awesome. The humidor is much bigger in this one than in Naples. And just the way it's designed, it like pays homage to Pittsburgh, right? So if you step back and look, you'll see like it almost looks like you're under a bridge in some sense.
It's next to 2.
Well, yeah. Well, you can't be anywhere in Pittsburgh and not be next to 2 bridges almost. But
it's down the street from Heinz Field, though.
It's actually almost equidistant from Heinz Field and PNC Park. So it's in a great spot, and I loved it, man. It turned out that I was there with Rocky for 2 openings, and those were the 4th and 5th of the week. So they were doing a soft opening every night of that week, kind of gearing up, and then Saturday, what day would that be? So Saturday the 7th was the first actual day that they were open to the public. But huge success. During that opening, there were, it looked like the entire Pittsburgh Penguins team was there. A bunch of players also from the Pirates, the front office for the Steelers. There was a bunch of athletes all around, good-looking women all around, and good times. So
did you now that you're mentioning that there were all these athletes there, did you get a chance to either talk to them or get a sense for which of them were the most serious smokers?
I didn't, but I did notice Joey Porter, who is an ex-Steelers linebacker, also played for the Dolphins for a bit. He's a known cigar smoker, and he was the whole night. There wasn't a moment that he wasn't smoking. So he was into it. And then the corner where all the hockey players were was just a smoke-filled corner.
Yeah.
So yeah, those guys seem to be into it. I didn't talk to any of them because a lot of them, the leagues that they play in, prevent them from speaking to media or anything. So I didn't want to put them in that position.
Right.
As soon as they found out that I was in the media or something, so I didn't bother them. Plus, they were there to just hang out and smoke cigars and drink. That's not my thing. I don't like to crimp your style.
Is everybody wearing black and yellow?
You know that there wasn't a lot of black and yellow on that night because you had to dress up a bit for that night. But on the streets of Pittsburgh, I don't know if I've ever seen a city where the percentage of people wearing jerseys is so high. At all times, you see people walking around wearing jerseys. So yeah, there's a lot of black and yellow going on, but not that night.
Yeah. So we talked about that a little bit in the last episode. Was there anything when you weren't at Burn? You weren't there for very long, But
No, I was there 2 days.
How are the drink prices, by the way?
So I didn't pay for a lot of drinks.
Oh, of course.
I
Big time in everybody.
cigar snob, big time
didn't
discount.
pay for a lot
Us
of
commoners
drinks. Nish,
gotta...
Nish doesn't let you pay for drinks. And neither does Rocky. So, yeah, I didn't pay for a lot of drinks. But the ones that I did pay for didn't seem to be terribly
Like he
expensive.
says, Nish doesn't let you pay. No, Nish doesn't let Erik pay for
Right,
drinks.
right. We're paying.
Oh, get out of here. Get out of here. But Frank Herrera, the attorney, and the friend of the magazine and podcast, he and I had dinner at a place right down the street from Bern called Hyde Park Steakhouse or Chapas. I don't know what it's called. But holy shit, that was awesome. Pittsburgh style ribeye.
Nice.
Out of hand.
Yeah.
Out of hand. Highly recommend it.
So yeah, we've said it before.
Even though that's not
Pittsburgh-
my recommendation for later.
Right,
but-
right. Yeah, Pittsburgh is a surprisingly, surprising if you've never been, surprisingly great cigar town. So this definitely just sort of like adds to what was already a pretty strong cigar landscape up there.
Shout out to Jim from Leaf and Bean.
That's right.
Picked us up at the airport and hung
Island
out.
Jim.
Island Jim was a great host. If you've never been there, you got to check that out. So if you visit Pittsburgh to go to Bern, you also have to go into the Strip District and check out Leaf and Bean. It is one of the most unique cigar shops you will ever be in.
Especially in the morning because they're big on coffee. So if
they
you're
roast coffee all day there.
If you're a cigar and coffee person, that's like Pittsburgh must visit at that hour. Well, I guess you can drink coffee any time of the day, right? But
Yeah, but I mean, you can say there are places into coffee or whatever, but they roast it.
yeah,
there,
yeah. This is
which
not like a Keurig in the corner. Or
Exactly.
something. Yeah.
So I love that place.
We spoke a little bit about athletes, but one sport in which Pittsburgh does not participate at the professional level.
Nope.
The NBA playoffs are coming up. So this is, I think this coming Saturday is the first game. I'll do a quick run through of who is going to be in this playoffs. For those of you who are not aware, in the Western Conference, we've got from seeds 1 through 8, or actually I'll just go by what the matchups are. So the number 1 Rockets are going up against the Timberwolves. Then you've got Oklahoma City and the Jazz, Portland and New Orleans, Golden State and San Antonio. And then in the East, it's Toronto and the Bullets. The Wizards. I'm still stuck in the Bullets era.
Whoa, Bernard King.
Yeah. Cleveland is going up against the Pacers, the Sixers, and our Miami Heat. And then Boston and the Milwaukee Bucks. So, 2 questions here. First, are there any initial thoughts that you have about the way that this playoffs has shaped up? And if you had to predict at least one first-round upset, what would you go with?
Well, first round upset, I think you have to go with Milwaukee over Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Boston's got a lot of injuries, and Milwaukee's looking pretty good. Except, I hate what they did in yesterday's game, securing that Boston matchup. Right? Obviously, everybody wanted the Boston matchup because Boston's hurt, and so. Did you see how they just laid down yesterday?
I didn't.
Kind of like a suck for luck type of thing. I don't know how you can do that.
No.
I can't imagine that. I can't imagine a coach telling your team, lay down here.
For the last game of the season, I
Can't
don't have
do
a
it. It was
problem laying
deplorable.
down.
It was embarrassing. It was like it was a mockery of the game. I can't deal with that.
I don't know if it
But anyway, I
if
thought
it
that
makes
sucked,
sense,
and I
I'll do
hope it comes back to bite them in the ass.
All right.
So that's all I got there.
But
for
you bring up
upset.
a good point. I mean, if you're coaching the team and you know that it might make a difference in how you're seated and whether you make it into a second round, you still don't
Suck
go for it.
That
for
doesn't
luck.
bother me. That no.
Suck
I think you gotta.
for-
I think you gotta play balls to the wall, and hey,
I think it's. I don't know.
you
I
gotta
think-
beat. You gotta beat the other team anyway.
You play balls to the wall with your 7th, 8th, and 9th starter on the bench.
Nah, you can't do.
I'm with. I agree that it upsets me if I bought a ticket.
Right. It's bad for the fans, granted. But, I mean,
Listen,
if you have a chance to get LeBron
look,
James
I-
and you
I
have to
will-
lose the last
we'll come
game
back
of the
to this.
year to get LeBron James, you're going to win the game?
We're gonna come back to this. But that's not what we're talking about here.
No?
So no. So we'll come back to this. We'll see what happens to Milwaukee. If Milwaukee ends up going to the conference finals against Cleveland, then that worked out, and I'll say, you know what? I stand corrected. But if they end up losing their ass to Boston because now their players aren't sharp or their mindset is different, they don't have that, killer instinct right now because they're in this like lose for Boston mode. Then then I think I would be right.
Right.
Well, but I mean, you're sort of giving those two extremes, right? I'm just saying if you're a 7 seed, you're kind of lucky if you make it into the second round. So
why not give yourself the best chance?
Yeah, why not give yourself the best shot of advancing? And if
I
you're a
think
fan, you'd rather have an extra round of playoffs.
Absolutely.
And by the time you're in the second round, you forgot what happened in the last game of the regular season.
I don't like it from a culture standpoint.
Sure.
Right? That's the main thing for me. From a team culture standpoint of doing that sort of gaming of the system, I don't think that's the right culture. I would like, as a fan or as an owner, as a coach, whatever it would be.
Well, Miami either accidentally or on purpose is with you because they won the last game in their regular season. So they did not get that memo.
Well,
or they got it and they did
Toronto
a bad job.
didn't get the memo either because
Toronto
played their starters.
Toronto played
all
out. And everybody there were people all over the floor. It was a good game last night.
Yeah. Okay, so your upset prediction was which one?
I still think Milwaukee beats Boston, though.
Okay, yeah. Ivan?
I'll take the Heat over Philly.
I was going to go with that. That may be a little bit of wishful thinking, especially now with Embiid.
No, but I think it's a more even series than it looks on paper, so.
Yeah, although with Embiid back, there was initially some, that was almost a...
But I still think we match up well. It's two big men. I think you kind of match up well if Whiteside comes to play. If he comes
everybody's agreeing this. I'm changing my pick. They're losing for sure. I'm going Utah.
He always does this.
Yeah.
I see too many people in agreement. I'm like, I'm going the other way. This is Utah. Yeah.
Okay,
Miami's
so you're going
losing
Utah. I'm sticking with the Miami upset, and Erik is looking for Milwaukee.
What happened? Okay, so here are a couple things. I wasn't watching a lot of it. What happened to Golden State this year? Why are they a 2 seed? And what happened to the Spurs, who are a 7 seed?
The Spurs haven't had Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
And the Warriors had injuries all season too.
Wow, I thought they'd be playing a lot. I know Houston had a great team, but I thought Golden State would be.
So the trick there in the West, I think, is the interesting part is how does Houston play defense here, right? Because they're a terrible defensive team, and in the playoffs, if you can't lock somebody down, it's hard to win the conference final. Because everybody's good on offense at that point. Portland is great. Golden State's going to be great. OKC's great. And so that's going to be an interesting series to watch. Not that first Houston-Minnesota one, but the second, the Houston-OKC. Assuming OKC gets by Utah.
Absolutely. So, next question. Who do you have in the finals and winning the whole thing?
Utah versus Philly.
Oh, man, he's all aboard. All your balls behind Utah.
I go with the balls again.
Yeah. No, Nick doesn't get off the ball, bro. He doesn't get off the balls. No, I think I have this strange feeling about Portland. Like I see them, they look good, man. So I'm gonna go Portland. Is able to lock down Harden, and I think they go against Cleveland. Yeah, I think Cleveland still gets through.
Okay, Toronto looked pretty good last night.
Toronto's looked great all season.
Yeah.
I like Toronto a lot.
Toronto's stout. So
it's just, man, when you got the best player on the planet.
I'll take both 1 seeds. Toronto, Houston.
I'm going to go Golden State, Toronto.
Whoa, you think Toronto? All right.
Yeah, I still think Toronto. I think Golden State, even if injuries are still bothering them a little, they just have too many.
That's my only concern with that team. Is injuries.
There's that, but then they just have too many ways to hit you. And Cleveland, aside from just I'm not like a LeBron James hater.
Team petty.
But I do think that he's just such a toxic cultural force.
That's hate. That's hate.
No, he just
like
is.
Hate to
No, he's the best player in the world, and I think if not for that, it would be like I would be all aboard the whatever team he's on is going to succeed all the time. But it's just, even like in the years that they've been in the finals, they just look like such a joyless team. They just don't look happy.
That is true.
And I think that at some point that starts to wear on you. Like you can only ride that high of I
need some Pharrell happy background music while you continue to talk.
Yeah.
Can we do this?
We can do that. So yeah, as Pharrell plays, I think that this is not going to be the Cleveland song. But very well may be wrong, but I'm going to go Golden State, Toronto.
Right.
And
All right.
I'm going to stick with Golden State.
Can someone write this down?
Ivan, write it down.
We're jotting it.
Jot it.
as we speak.
Do some jotting.
Is there audio of that?
Yeah, we'll get some jotting music. All right, so before we move on to other subjects, we're going to hear from me talking about this episode's sponsor.
Tell them about it, Nick. Tell them about it.
El Galán Cigars. El Galán Reserva Especial comes in 4 box-pressed sizes, the 5x52 Airosos, the 5 3/4 by 54 Apuestos, 6 by 52 Gallardos, which is a torpedo, and the 6 by 60 Obesos. All of these are 100% Nicaraguan cigars with Jalapa Oscuro wrappers, available in stores nationwide. You can find them online at elgalancigars.com. On Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, just search for El Galán Cigars. That's ELGALAN cigars.com. I'm only now catching on, despite how many podcasts I listen to the fact that you should say the name a bunch of times. So El Galán Cigars, El Galán Cigars, El Galán Cigars.
Are you talking about El Galán Cigars?
I am talking about El
Oh.
Galán Cigars.
Interesting.
Next up, we will be talking, we're about to start talking, about another trip. I was just in New Orleans celebrating a first wedding anniversary. I had not been, what year was the APCPR?
Congratulations,
Thank
Nick.
you very much.
Congrats, Nicky boy.
Thank you.
Is it fair to call you Nicky boy on the air? Is that okay?
It already happened. So,
Okay.
what are we going to do?
You beat our
No, that's
over-under.
fine. Huh?
You beat our over-under prediction.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Yep.
Why, what was the over-under? Oh, the
8
over-under.
months.
Right. Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I thought this was Nicky Boy related. I was like, it was going to take 23 episodes for Nicky Boy to come.
Just kidding, LC. We had you at 2 years.
2 years. Yes, we got to get that next trip in soon before the cutoff. So, yeah, we were in New Orleans. Neither of us had been just like on a leisure trip, although it's difficult to not call IPCPR at least a bit of a leisure trip. But when was IPCPR?
Sure, after hours or leisure.
Yeah, that was, 2015 or 16?
15.
Yeah, so
think.
I hadn't been since 2015, but other than that, neither of us had been just for the hell of it in close to 10 years. So it was a pretty great trip. Just some.
What'd you like the most, man?
So a lot of it, you sort of go back for the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
Which is fine with me because it's such a unique place that it's not stuff that you're getting elsewhere.
Exactly.
But I had never had the grilled oysters anywhere.
Grilled oysters.
The grilled oysters we had them at Cochon.
Cochon.
At Cochon.
That was our lunch spot during the
Yeah.
show, buddy.
Yeah. So that was with a hot garlic butter
Hot garlic.
and Parmesan.
Sounds
garlic.
sexy. That sounds
And we
so
did
sexy.
the soft shell crab there as well. So that
They
was
both
pretty great.
they parted ways right
Yeah.
that night afterwards.
Right.
It's like, all right, well, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
After you brush your teeth 4 times.
But yeah, that the soft shell crab and I think we did Preservation Hall.
So wait. You went to cochon, which is French for pig,
Correct.
and you had nothing but seafood.
We didn't have nothing but seafood. We also had rabbit and dumplings. So
Not
surprisingly,
a pig to be found.
the menu wasn't as pork forward as I
Really?
thought it would be. There was a lot of other stuff. Maybe we also had the oysters recommended to us, and the soft shell crab was in season, so we didn't want to pass on that.
What? No, of course not.
And then we did the rabbit and dumplings, and I forget what else we did, but we ate a lot everywhere we went. And then we did Preservation Hall, which I hadn't done before because it's sort of easy to kind of blow off because of the format of it. You're lined up outside on Bourbon Street for roughly an hour, $20 cash ahead, and then you go into this very small room, and it doesn't sound like it's a good idea. But the music really was, like, it was an experience to be in there, and if you're in New Orleans, highly recommend Preservation Hall. And then the other recommendation on Magazine Street, which was kind of the surprise of the trip, was Shaya, which is an Israeli restaurant. Shaya! So,
Shaya.
so
Sorry, I'm in a goofy mood, man.
Shaya is an Israeli restaurant. Shaya is I believe the last name of whoever the chef owner is.
Shaya.
And come to boom shy up on them. A little shout out to Nick Melillo, who, by the way, was featured in a recent podcast interview. So if you want to hear all about his boom fire, go back to the last episode. But
yours was boom shaya.
The boom shaya, all of the biggest boom shaya we felt was in the lamb ragu hummus, which was pretty awesome.
Was that the pic you posted on Instagram?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, that looked amazing.
Yeah.
It almost looked like un garbanzo frito.
It's kind of what it was, because the garbanzos were like crispy. So the garbanzos that were over the ragu were a little bit of a crunchy element.
Do they make that in a po' boy?
They do give you pita bread, so you can make an Israeli po' boy if you really want to.
Okay.
But yeah, everything that we had there was excellent. We had that hummus and some kafta, also some babka, all kinds of stuff. That was probably where we left waddling the hardest from how much we ate, which in New Orleans is saying something. So yeah, also want to make sure that I throw in a shout out to Cigar Factory New Orleans, another place I had not been in quite a long time. Thank you to Shauna and Alex and everybody there. They did us a little bit of a favor that saved us some travel time, just given how we had scheduled flights and hotels and stuff. So thank you very much to them. I made sure to pick up some cigars. If you're in New Orleans and you're a cigar smoker, that is definitely a place you want to go, because you'll be able to pick up some cigars that you probably won't find back home. So
and they're making them right there.
It's and it's a very different kind of experience, right? Because it's a little bit like the experience that you get in Ybor City, but it's also, it's got its own kind of cultural feel to it.
Sure.
And you're right in the thick of the French Quarter. So pretty great stuff. Definitely check out Cigar Factory New Orleans. And I don't know if you guys have any other New Orleans things that you want to talk about, but those were
Maple Leaf on a Tuesday, Rebirth Brass Band. It's good. That's a good time. Yeah.
Cool.
Did that with Carluba years ago.
Nice.
And came back and did it again last time we went. What about the museum?
That's right.
The World War II Museum.
We did the World War II Museum. For those who do not know, the National World War II Museum is located in New Orleans. A lot of people that we've spoken to who just asked us how the trip had gone have asked why there even is a World War II museum in New Orleans. And if I'm not mistaken, it's because it started as a D-Day museum.
Mm-hmm.
And New Orleans is where they manufactured the, I forget what the name of the boats.
That amphibious vehicle that would...
exactly, right. So
I forget the name. Gosh, there's a street like right behind it with the name of the freaking amphibious vehicle.
The baby boats. all the baby boats.
Whoa, is that?
That is Nick's version of New Orleans baby.
All the baby boats were manufactured in New Orleans.
I thought you had a stroke or something. Like, what happened?
So yeah, the war crawfish were manufactured in New Orleans, and so eventually it expanded into a broader World War II museum, and they have all kinds of planes and boats and guns and uniforms and really good interactive elements. Like, even if you're not a museum person, pretty great like immersive museum experience, and it's got everything done in a way that no matter how you like absorbing this stuff, you can, right? You can spend the whole time reading, you can spend the whole time watching stuff, you can be like looking at all the artifacts and all that. So easily a 4 or 5 hour thing. And lucky for us, it was raining on the Saturday, so it worked out that, because that's part of the thing, right? Is like you're in New Orleans and you don't necessarily go to New Orleans in that museum mentality, but if it's raining, that's probably about the best way that you can spend that time.
Higgins boats.
The Higgins boats. So the Higgins boats were all manufactured in New Orleans. The two of you have also been to that museum, no?
Yeah, loved it, man. The only reason I went was because Ivan recommended it.
And I think I went when it was raining also. So it was a good time, good 4 or 5 hours we spent there. What I remember,
they have a decent bar there too that you can hang out. Yeah,
I had gumbo and and local beer, which was very good. The thing that impressed me the most were these interviews that they conducted with some of the veterans, and they were showing them off. upstairs, like on the second floor somewhere, and these guys don't sugarcoat any of their stories. They were like being
some
very,
badasses, man.
yeah, they had some
I enjoyed
badasses.
that
They were
too.
like really, they were very raw in the way that they were describing what was going on. It was very eye opening.
Now that you mentioned that, so one of the ones that we watched, I forget his name. You're going through there, and it's like part of the cool thing is that they focus on a lot of people who are not necessarily like central characters in the histories that you've seen before. And one of them was one of the black Americans who fought in World War II. And one of the things that I thought was so interesting was that in his interview, he talks about how upset he was at having not gotten, I want to say it was a Medal of Honor, despite all a particular heroic act that should have qualified him, and that he sort of only got over it after he got the Medal of Honor. So to your point, right? Like they're not. It's a National World War II museum. There's going to be it's definitely from an American perspective, but they don't shy away from those aspects of the American perspective that are not necessarily super rah-rah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the movie, did you see the movie that they have in the? Yeah. So
Oh man, that was.
So they got this.
That was rough, man. It was awesome.
Did everybody stand up and clap after the movie? And everybody did in
Me
mine.
too, and I had a veteran of World War II watching the movie there with us. It was very emotional.
Yeah.
And then what I thought was interesting was also, so for example, there's a part of the movie where it's shot kind of like from the perspective of inside of a bomber. Mm-hmm. Or rather from just outside, like if you were flying right in front of a bomber. And like the front end of this bomber kind of comes down
it comes through.
Right, or it comes. Well, I don't remember if it came through. Maybe because I remember being suspended from cable, so maybe they changed it some.
I think it like moves forward and then suddenly it comes into view for the audience.
Exactly. Right. Which when it's happening, like when the thing is coming down, I'm kind of thinking, okay, this is gonna be cheesy as hell. This is gonna be some like 30 years ago Disney World, but no, it's super impressive. Like
the whole thing was incredibly done.
way that they incorporate all these physical. And I was wondering when I was going in, what is a 4D movie? And then you kind of figure it out.
I had the same thing.
Yeah,
I think wasn't that directed by Tom Hanks or something?
It's narrated by Tom. It might have also been directed or produced or something by Tom Hanks, but he definitely narrates it. So yeah, definitely worth the visit. Just for the sake of throwing in the email. A lot of people who listen to this podcast have been to New Orleans. If you have any favorite New Orleans things, shoot us an email. Give us your recommendations at feedback@cigarsnobmag.com, and maybe we'll recommend some of the lesser known, like.
Well, you also got a few good shops there, right? You got Crescent City.
That's right.
You got
Smoke on the Water.
Smoke on the Water on Canal Street. The one I told you to go to.
Don Leoncio.
Don Leoncio.
Not Dionisio. Don Leoncio. Yeah, Don Leoncio's over there. Actually, not far from the museum, right?
Not far from the museum. No, it's not on Chapatulas.
I'm just throwing out
just
a
like
street
saying
that
Chapatulas.
I do. Don't quote me on that.
Oh, baby street. All right, so moving on to some golfing babies. The Masters. We spoke about the Masters in anticipation of them in the last podcast.
Are we skipping past tax day here?
Oh, you know what? Hold on. Oh, man, I have done some egregious scrolling. I skipped all kinds of stuff.
Yes.
Tax day. Tax day is coming up April 18th.
17th.
17th? Hey, this is Nick here, just interrupting for a moment after the fact to let you know that in the coming minutes you will be hearing a discussion about why Tax Day 2018 is not on April 15th. However, I totally have my calendar mixed up in this discussion and insist that Tax Day is on April 18th. It is not. It is April 17th, so you've been warned. Despite what you're about to hear, all of which is accurate in the sense of Emancipation Day and the explanation for why the date shifted, know that Tax Day is on the 17th. So we don't want to be getting letters from angry listeners telling us that they missed a tax deadline because of the Cigar Snob podcast. Anyway, that's all. Just wanted to throw that out there, throw out a little preemptive correction so that we avoid confusion. You've been warned. We've done our part. here is our, conversation about Tax Day 2018.
I think so.
No, I think
Yeah.
17th is the Sunday.
Oh, okay. So then it would be 18.
Yeah, it's on the 18th. And the reason that Tax Day is on the 18th is that April 16th, which is the Saturday, is Emancipation Day in Washington, D.C. So when Emancipation Day lands on the Saturday, D.C. has the Friday off. In this case, the Friday is the 15th, and so Tax Day gets pushed to the Monday.
My God, the accountants must absolutely hate that, right?
Yeah.
Like we have to work for a few more days.
Right.
What exactly is Emancipation Day?
Give it to him, Nick.
I didn't know this either until Erik mentioned it to me. I knew that there was some kind of a delay. But Emancipation Day is actually a D.C. holiday. I would have assumed, not having remembered all the details of my high school American history classes, that this was related to the Emancipation Proclamation, but no. It is the day that D.C. celebrates Lincoln signing the Compensated Emancipation Act, which ended slavery in D.C. by paying slave owners for releasing their slaves. So that happened on April 16th, 1862. So this year, it's on a Saturday, which means that you are emancipated also for like 3
From
days.
paying taxes for 3 more days.
I don't know that we have any fun tax stories, but
Well, no, I thought it was funny that accountants all over the country must be hating this day.
right.
So
Yeah. And especially the fact that it delays it across a weekend. So they've got, I'm sure, people bothering the shit out of them for
of course.
the whole Saturday and Sunday. So someone who, I'm trying to figure out how to tie this in. Anyway, he has screwed himself over. Tristan Thompson. Actually, this is related because that video is from a DC club.
Ah.
So there is your segue.
You found the
Tremendous
segue. Well,
sound.
last
The
minute
segue.
last minute segue.
So Tristan Thompson of Cleveland Cavaliers fame, and also Keeping Up with the Kardashians fame, who is married to or engaged to? Are they married?
They're having a kid.
They're having a kid. Yeah.
yeah.
With Khloe Kardashian.
Wasn't the kid born already?
Yes.
We have breaking news. Khloe Kardashian's baby was born today.
Congratulations, Khloe
Congratulations.
and Tristan. That's got to be the best use of the noisemaker so
No
far.
doubt. No doubt.
So yeah, Tristan Thompson was another So okay, let's lay down the TMZ has released security footage of Tristan Thompson at a DC area nightclub with 2 women, neither of whom was Khloe Kardashian, basically making out and getting all felt up, and also motorboating.
Yeah, I love
one of them.
I love the headline. I hadn't seen this till right now, and it's cheating on Khloe with 2 women, making out, grabbing junk, and motorboating.
Grabbing junk. I even found another headline that I think is even not Cigar Snob podcast friendly. The caressing. But yeah, this has to be a headline writer's dream. It's just one of those stories that you can have some fun with. And on the one, I feel conflicted because I never like making light of these sorts of things and even celebrities' personal lives. But it's like by now you're almost asking for it if you get involved with the Kardashians in any way, shape, or form. And then on top of that, you cheat on a Kardashian in a public way, in a public place.
But did he cheat? Did he cheat, or is this like a Me Too?
No, he was...
Because he was getting his junk.
No. Well, no, but he was spotted later on by paparazzi going into a hotel room with either one of them or a third person. So yeah,
Poor guy.
something seems to have gone down.
Yeah.
Ivan with the poor guy. So I'm not really sure what the discussion is here, but it feels like it warrants some discussion.
I don't know.
So the thought that crossed my mind was, and I still would put the blame on him for doing this not only to other people, but to, like, why would you, if you're in that situation, and let's just suppose that you're the cheating type, right? And by type I mean like somebody who's just gonna go out of their way.
Male.
Yeah, but somebody who's like gonna go way out of their way, like it's
Okay.
like the person who would do it even if they're not in a compromising situation or tempted or whatever. Being in that public a relationship, it seems like there was just no concern, and then it's just got to complicate his in the locker room.
It feels like it's done on purpose for me.
Right, like then you're going into
publicity,
and then you're going into the locker room knowing that like this is gonna come out at some point. And the other interest, what I was gonna say was the security footage is from October, and it's coming out now. So like, people were like scouring security footage for this kind of thing, and it's you know that it's going to come out, especially when you're in a relationship with that high profile person in a family that people are already looking for all the juicy, what are their NBA significant others up to?
Yeah, I don't get it. Why would you go with the ugliest of the Kardashians too? If you're gonna do it, you go with the top one, right?
Go with the top dog, man.
Not the ugly sister.
Well, one of the women involved here is a bit of a Kim Kardashian lookalike, and actually described herself on Instagram as the oldest Kardashian. So that adds a whole other layer of just
weirdness.
Yeah, a little layer of weird there to the whole thing. But anyway,
dilly Tristan.
I'm still lost on dilly, and I feel like it's more fun to not know. I'm just gonna ride the dilly wave. Through this whole thing, but yeah, so that is the news from Kardashianville, and now for a bit of the news from Villiger Cigars, a sponsor of this episode. Villiger Cigars is celebrating 130 years in tobacco and unveiling its first ever full-bodied premium handmade cigar in the Villiger La Vencedora. It's a follow-up to the highly acclaimed Villiger La Flor de Inclán and Villiger Sandoro Colorado. The Nicaraguan Puro is wrapped in a beautiful Nicaraguan Habano Oscuro wrapper and boasts a potent full-bodied smoking experience featuring highly seasoned, hearty flavors. The Villiger La Vencedora is a palate-pleasing, full-bodied yet elegant cigar that will satisfy the cigar connoisseur as well as the casual smoker. Make sure that you visit Villiger online at villigercigars.com. Check them out on Facebook, facebook.com/villiger.northamerica. Twitter at Villiger Cigars, that's cigars with an S at the end, and Instagram at Villiger Cigar, just Villiger Cigar, no S at the end, on Instagram. All right, so we are, I think, all coming up on the, actually, Ivan's already removed it, but we're all at or around the secondary band on this Hamlet 25th year. What are your impressions so far?
It's good. I think the intensity crept up a bit, which was nice.
Getting a bit of burn on the retro hill, which I wasn't getting initially, so it's nice.
A little uptick on pepper, yeah.
Yeah, and the cedar has faded a bit also, which it kind of has brought in a little more balance.
Getting a lot of nuts, honey, cinnamon.
What's up with you guys and the nuts and the balls and what's your deal?
God,
hey, man.
Get your head out of the gutter, buddy.
Come on now. So yeah, I mean,
no, I'm enjoying. I'm still enjoying it. I like the transition. I don't know. Whoever listens to this always knows I like transitions. Yeah. I like when it changes. So
although it is a subtle shift, right?
Yeah.
It's not a roller coaster of a cigar.
Yeah, it didn't go from black to white.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it. And it's burning beautifully, by the way. I don't know about you guys. You're good? Yeah.
Yeah. No. I haven't had to. Well, I relit it only because I had left it alone for a little bit. But yes, no, it's burning beautifully, having no issues with that whatsoever. So we'll come back to this in a bit. But yeah, pretty solid smoke.
I mean, I'm taking my son now to a basketball game. Otherwise, I would have loved to have gotten into some rum with this. I think rum would pair beautifully with this right now. A little Zafra. You
don't have a little basketball game flask?
I don't. That's my fault, though.
Yeah, what are you going to do? So now we can get into the Masters, which we talked about in our last chit-chat, jibber-jabber episode. We made some predictions at that point.
Oh, but wait. Before, if we're going to talk about the Masters, cut in some theme music right here.
Okay.
Insert here.
Got it.
A tradition like no other. It's great.
Oh, I thought you were going to keep
going. No. I don't think
that's all he had, a tradition like no other.
Okay.
No, it's actually wrong. It's like, a tradition unlike any other.
That sounds so much better.
Oh man. So yeah, we made some predictions. We got into some deep analysis.
Did you guys see it? see any of it?
I did. I actually jumped through some hoops to be able to see it.
Nick's shaking it. He's like,
hell
no, man. I was on Frenchman Street. I was drinking Sazeracs. I don't watch no goddamn golf. But I did.
Yeah, me too. I actually, my brother we were at my mom's house or my brother's house, and he sabotaged the backyard TV so that I wouldn't be able to watch it. So I was watching it on my phone. And
my brother-in-law was watching it on his phone too.
And then I took off and went home and caught the last 6 holes or so.
Yeah.
Of Patrick Reed wrapping it up. Man,
he sure did. He sure did.
I was balled out.
Yeah, more balls.
You see, there you
go. Yeah, you wanted Jordan, who made a push at the end. Probably everybody wanted him, to pull through and make that win at the end.
My kids were jumping up and down hoping for Jordan.
Oh, I thought they were jumping up and down when Rory was choking at the end.
No, they're
because that is nice.
Like Jordan.
Sorry about all your European Tour fans out there, but watching Rory choke is wonderful.
Well, so did John Rahm. Rahm fell apart. Fell apart at the back there at the end.
Yeah, but he was out of it by a bit. He was like 5 or 6 strokes out. Rory and Patrick went in there head to head, and it was almost like a rematch of that Ryder Cup where Patrick beat his butt before, and he did it again. Yep. So it was good to see an American win it. He did it convincingly.
Convincingly.
Convincingly. But what'd you think about the whole
I thought
Patrick Reed family story?
So we're watching it, and my wife says, the guy putts. He makes that par putt to win it, and it's over, and he's coming off the course, coming off the green, and his wife comes up to greet him.
By the way, at that point, you're always looking for the tears, right? You want to see the guy wins his first Masters. You want to see him start crying, get all emotional.
And not only that, but the crowd. Like, the crowd was subdued. Normally, when that winning putt is made, like, the crowd just explodes, right? And then you look back there and you see people just standing up like
cheering, but not
crazy.
Clappy. Right.
It wasn't like
rowdy.
Yeah, like if Jordan would have won it, there would have been people doing backflips, and they would have brought out like confetti. It would have been crazy. And so then my wife says, "Where are his parents? His parents are not there." She's asking me, and I say, "I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Other than watching the guy play, I don't know a lot about him." And so she starts Googling and finds out that the guy hasn't talked to his parents in I don't know how many years. So I thought that was weird. But you told me.
I heard about the news afterwards, like everyone else. So I hear that, and for everybody that doesn't know, Patrick Reed was obviously a great, high school golfer, was recruited to play at Georgia, goes to Georgia, gets caught cheating on the golf course, not on his wife.
By the way, he doesn't get along with anyone.
Like,
and even still today.
Gets locked up for a couple different reasons. I think he had like a DUI, something like that. Gets thrown off the team, so has to go to Georgia State, where he ends up winning.
Augusta State.
Augusta State, which is down the street from Augusta National.
Yep.
Ends up winning the national championship for Augusta State, which is unheard of.
He wins Player of the Year or something like that, right? Whatever the award is.
He's at Augusta State. Family moves, to Augusta to live near him. He graduates. And then, I guess, meets a girl while at school and decides to tell his parents that he's going to get married with her. So this is a girl that, his current wife that he kissed coming off the green, who's 4 years older than him. So he goes,
played that really well.
Yeah, very well. Did you see the ring on her hand? So he goes, tells his parents, "Hey, I'm getting married." And they're like, "Are you crazy? What are you doing? You have this."
Any parent says that at that point.
Of course, you're especially, for your son who's successful, has a bright future ahead of him. Seems like a little early for this, but decides, "Hey, I'm gonna get married." Parents disagree, and he says, "F you, I won't do what you tell me."
Like Rage Against the Machine style?
Rage Against the Machine style, and stops talking to his parents. So I don't think he speaks to them since like 2011. They try to talk to him. Actually, they go out to the U.S. Open that he was competing in 2014, And the wife sees his family on the course and asks USGA officials to throw them off the golf course.
That's crazy,
So his parents get escorted off the golf course, and now he wins the Masters and has zero contact with them, doesn't even acknowledge them.
I know, like, you want that moment, especially as a young golfer like he is. I don't know how old he is, but he's young.
Under 30.
Yeah. And so that moment, you remember, like, when Tiger comes off and hugs his dad. I mean, that's the thing, right?
Everybody.
Every young golfer. You saw it with Jordan. You saw it with Justin Thomas. Like, they come off, and the first thing you want to do is hug your parents. I mean, they're the ones that have been with you this whole ride.
His dad put him in his first golf lesson. Of course you're going to.
And so, yeah, man, it was weird. So it was funny that my wife even, like, noticed that. So that's how noticeable it was. So then he was on Jimmy Fallon last night. And I don't watch a lot of these shows, these late night shows. But they said he was going to be on, and those fuckers, they hooked me. I watched the entire show just to see if Jimmy was going to ask him anything about his parents. But Jimmy's not into hard questions.
Yeah, softball.
It was all softball.
Right.
What size jacket do you wear? When do you wear it? What do you do with it? I was like, oh, man, come on. Give me some good cheese.
It's kind of like Nicolas Antonio Jimenez.
Softball, man. He's a softball factory.
I like the softballs, the hard balls.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Back to the balls.
So anyway, no, that was crazy. I want to read more about that story. That just seems like, to me, I couldn't possibly do that. I couldn't do that to my mom or dad. I couldn't. I wouldn't have the heart to do it.
I'm not going to lie. I'm a big fan of his just because he's such a passionate.
They call him Captain America.
Passionate competitor, great golfer, beats everybody head to head.
Yeah, he's a badass.
But this really puts him in a bad light for me.
Well, not only that, but also he's got this like isolationist thing, right, where he doesn't play a practice round with anyone.
I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that.
He didn't get along with anyone on his college teams.
You don't turn your back on your mom or your dad.
Of course, that's the most egregious of all of them.
So.
But hey, congrats on winning the Masters, though, buddy.
Congratulations!
You got a green
Mr.
jacket.
Reed.
But notice how we did not get the horn thing from Ivan. That's how unceremonious this was.
Patrick Reed, you get the horn. Can't wait to see what you serve at the Champions Dinner next year.
Now it's official. Now that he got the horn. Speaking of
Horns.
Speaking of horns. Now, speaking of golf, Ivan, you were recently involved in a golf tournament.
I did. I'm playing some tune-up events for a qualifier that I have coming up.
Not tuna events.
Not tuna events.
Tune-up events.
Too much tuna.
Yeah, tune-up events. So yeah, I'm trying to get ready, compete in something big at the end of the month. Came in 5th place yesterday. Shot 76. Not too happy with the score. Had a triple, had a double, but game's coming around. Gonna play well, so we'll see. So
Congrats, buddy.
Thanks for
No
including
horn.
me. Yeah, I don't like patting.
horn for here?
I don't like patting myself on the back or pulling my own horn. So thanks for adding me into the show there. But now let's move along.
So yeah, I mean, I wish we had a second horn, but I'm not about to share a horn with you. So, you know who I would share a horn with though? Villiger Cigars.
Boo!
Boo for the segue.
Yeah,
not for the cigar.
yeah.
All right,
segue.
so yeah, here is a final word for the episode from our sponsor, Villiger Cigars. Villiger Cigars is celebrating 130 years in tobacco and unveiling its first ever full-bodied premium handmade cigar in the Villiger La Vencedora. It's a follow-up to the highly acclaimed Villiger La Flor de Inclán and Villiger Sandoro Colorado. The Nicaraguan Puro is wrapped in a beautiful Nicaraguan Habano Oscuro wrapper and boasts a potent full-bodied smoking experience featuring highly seasoned, hearty flavors. The Villiger La Vencedora is a palate-pleasing, full-bodied yet elegant cigar that will satisfy the cigar connoisseur as well as the casual smoker. Make sure that you visit Villiger online at villigercigars.com. Check them out on Facebook, facebook.com/villiger.northamerica, Twitter at Villiger Cigars, that's cigars with an S at the end, and Instagram at Villiger Cigar, just Villiger Cigar, no S at the end on Instagram. Okay, all right, welcome back. And we're going to round out the Cigar Snob podcast first we will recommend to you. This is where we give you our parting recommendations, but we will give you a sort of institutional recommendation that you head over to our website. That's cigarsnobmag.com and check out a story that we have just posted. This is actually also in the most recent issue of the magazine in print. It is a story on Aganorsa and its founder, Eduardo Fernandez. They are the makers of Casa Fernandez cigars, as well as the factory that manufactures cigars for brands like Viaje, Ilusione, Foundation. Yeah. So yeah, go on there, check that out, and also scroll a little bit farther back into our podcast episodes for the full version of the interview with Eduardo Fernandez. And we also have the interview with Nick up there, and we'll have other interviews that were sort of related to that story coming up on this podcast. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you're checking back for all of that stuff. Now for our parting recommendations, where we let you know some things that you should eat, smoke, drink, buy, read, watch, listen to. Our first...
I don't have any of those.
You don't have any of those, but I don't want to spoil this for people. Ivan, if there were an award for recommendations, Ivan wins it many episodes, but this one, he's hands down.
This one takes it big time.
So we've touched on this one.
I know why you like it, because it's the weirdest thing I've ever recommended,
God.
and you're the king of weird
I
when
love
it comes
weird,
to the recommendations.
I'm a little jealous that I'm not wearing this thing right now.
All right.
You're spoiling it.
Yeah, you're spoiling it. So this is going out to all my plumbers out there. It's going to sound a little weird, but I think a lot of people share the same problem I do. You wear your clothes, your shirt's not long enough, and you bend over to get something, and you're showing some butt crack. So I bought this thing off Amazon. Not that I was looking for. I was looking for something else, but Amazon recommended a product.
What the hell were you looking for that Amazon recommended this? But anyway.
Yeah. Relax. Let me just read the description, what it's called. It's the Jalinda men's dress shirt stays with adjustable garter belts. Okay,
sexy.
So this thing,
Are you wearing that at home?
I do for fun. And it does look funky. And my wife laughs at me.
You get a babysitter, and then you just
Yeah.
and then you and Eva around the house, and you wear this thing.
Yeah.
I like that.
So if you guys haven't figured it out, it's a garter belt that goes around your legs and it clips to the bottom of your shirt and keeps your shirt tucked in at all times. And I will say I used it yesterday for the first time at this golf tournament, and I played an entire round of golf without having to retuck my shirt. So it was awesome.
That's
Again,
impressive.
I'm telling you, if you guys have this problem, and a lot of you skinny folk don't have this problem, if you're shaped like a pear like me and Nick.
Hold on. Leave me out of this coin slot.
It's like, what the hell?
Leave me out of the coin slot issue. I'm bigger than you, and I don't have that. I don't know where you're buying your shirts, but you need to get them. You're talking about plate a whole. I don't think you've ever poured yourself water without me seeing your coin slot. So this is very exciting.
Okay.
So I have an extra long coin slot, like everything else I have. So anyways, this thing costs $10. It's the best thing that you can buy if you expose other people to crack. So anyways, check it out.
All right. So from garters to
mine is totally conservative. One Strange Rock show on National Geographic talks about the Earth, and we're not talking about this.
Well, but where would you go to see it?
National Geographic.
National Geographic,
and it's a view of astronauts talking about the Earth as they view it from above. It's pretty cool, but it's not a man garter belt.
This is a series or a
series?
Series. Okay, One Strange Rock series. I'm recommending Mudbound on Netflix. This was Mary J. Blige was nominated for an Oscar for this in this most recent Academy Awards. It was way better than I thought it would be. I watched it on the flights to and from half and half New Orleans. And long story short, it is a white family and a black family in the South. They are both farming families, each with a relative who goes off to World War II. And the whole story is sort of about the racial dynamic when these two guys get back to the Deep South post-World War II. And as always...
Still not a man garter.
Not a man garter. I'm also recommending, if you... some of you may know who Casey Neistat is. He's a very well-known YouTube personality, and he recently somewhat recently sold his company Beam to CNN, which then promptly shut Beam down. So I guess I don't know what they're doing with it, but
The hell is the point of that? But okay.
yeah. So he's starting another business called 368, and I would recommend that even people who are not into this vlog phenomenon go and check out the most recent episodes of his YouTube channel, because basically from here on out, supposedly the point of his vlog will be to sort of document the process of getting this 368 business off the ground. So if you're into like entrepreneurship and startup stories, this will be sort of an interesting way to follow from square one the development of this company. The point of which is basically to offer other internet media small time folk a place to record videos and do editing and all kinds of other creative
Because he's
stuff.
a talented filmmaker.
He is, yeah. So he had an HBO
No
show
doubt,
before
yeah,
he got
he's
into
incredibly
YouTube.
talented.
So yeah, a little bit sort of higher end on the creative side than a lot of the other people who get famous on YouTube. So with that, I don't know if we've got anything else that we want to get into.
Man garter, go get one.
Man garter, go get one for
Faux
sure.
show.
Can we do like Cigar Snob branded man garters? Is this out of the question?
I will look into it.
Okay, here we go. Look out for that soon. CigarSnobMangarters.com. Thank you very much for joining us. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Visit us at cigarsnobmag.com/podcast for past episodes. You can subscribe to the print magazine there, which is a good thing to do. Follow us on social media. Just search for Cigar Snob Mag, wherever it is that you do social things.
Hey, happy 25th, dude.
That's right. Happy 25th episode to us.
Wait,
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
sorry.
That deserves it.
Boom. Take care.
Later.